Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
Yes indeed, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. This is the Hype Energy F1 League on F1 2019 and it's the season finale for season 19 here at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pachi, Interlagos for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Fantastic to have you along with us here this evening, what should be another fantastic race. Of course, Interlagos has been the scene of many title deciders over the years 2006, 7, 8, 9 and 2012 and has always been a great race place for the race as well. It was obviously the location that Ayrton Senna famously won finally his home Grand Prix in 1991, where a car that ended up only having 6 gear and he was so exhausted at the end. It's such a short track, very quick one indeed, just over 2.6 miles, 15 turns technically round here, and that run from the bottom of the hill all the way up to the Senna S is one of the longest straight flat out sections there is here on the calendar. 2 DRS zones ought to keep them very close indeed, and then that tricky infield section from turn 6 all the way down the hill to turn 12 before the blast back up the hill to the pit straight. Usual race format here tonight, 18-minute qualifying session followed by a 36 lap 50% distance race of 153 kilometres, and as you see that long flat out section just shy of 1400 metres heading up towards turn number 1. Tyres here tonight, soft, medium and hard. It's C3, C2 and C1, not much between them in terms of performance, 0.5 between the soft and the medium and 1 second between the soft and the hard. Don't expect to see the white wall tyre too much here this evening, and as we look at the fantastic MP46 going round in the background, it's time to have a look at the championship standings. Danny MG leads coming into tonight with a 21-point gap from his teammate Williams Jim Sven. You can see there's been a lot of movement after last week's Austrian Grand Prix, with Blizzard moving ahead of Casper, Lee Finlay ahead of Sparks and Jonathan up from P10 into P8, and you can see Lee Finlay has scored points in all rounds, all but one round, which was Japan during season 19. Only Sparks has a better record in the races that he's competed in. Constructors Championship, Williams McLaren are guaranteed 1 and 2 no matter what happens here this evening. Racing Point and Mercedes still fighting out for 3rd and 4th, and a battle for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th will really hot up, and as you can see, BDG Jonathan has scored 46 of Reynolds' 54 points during this season. Fantastic effort from him. My name is Andy Campbell. Thank you very much for joining us here once again this evening. Joining me in the commentary box, as always, is my commentator partner in crime. It is the wonderful, magnificent, the brilliant Mr. Kieran McGinley. Kieran, it's fantastic to have you along here, as always, for what should be another fantastic night worth of action.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. And yes, for the one final time this season here in season 19 of Apex Online Racing, we will wind them up and let them go here at Brazil in about 20 minutes time for the race start. But yes, a fantastic circuit. It's pretty much built for overtaking, this one. A great mix of low speed corners, undulation changes, and of course, obviously the Senna S there, which if it does start to rain, can cause a couple of issues. I mean, it is called Interlagos for a reason, translates to between the lakes in Portuguese, directly from. I don't know much Portuguese, I'm not very good at pronunciation, so that's pretty much as far as we'll go. But I do know that in the wet weather conditions, that turn 3 really does turn into a lake rather than a track. Luckily though, for this race, qualifying should be dry and the race should also be dry. So for once, Andy, we're having a not rain affected race today. That seems weird to say here.
It seems weird indeed, because we've had rain at nearly every race since Australia at round 7, so definitely nice to see some sunshine out on the track. Now, if you're eagle-eyed, you will be looking along the standings at the side, the 16 drivers that are here, and notice that it's a bit anticlimactic in terms of the championship, because there is no Williams Jim Sven. Unfortunately, the German is not at home in time to be able to take part here this evening, which means that automatically Danny MG, before we even start here tonight, is already champion for season 19. I mean, a big congratulations to him, obviously, before we even get started. But it's such a shame that obviously the championship is decided before we even get up and running here tonight. But things do happen, it's the way things go. But Danny is champion before we get started. But we've still got a fantastic battle between Blizzard, Casper and Vasta Racer over 3rd, 4th and 5th. Lee Finlay could get himself into amongst 4th and 5th as well. And that 4-way scrap for the bottom end of the Constructors' Championship is going to be pretty tasty as well as we go through proceedings tonight. But I think it's time, with Danny's currently sitting on pole position at the moment, I think it's time we find someone to go and take a little lap off this fantastic circuit on board with. Let's just see who is coming round to complete a lap. Since I hit all the right buttons, I think we'll jump on board with Jonathan, who's coming towards the end of a lap at the moment. And this is one of my favourite laps of the year personally, because number one, there's actually corners with names, and number two, it's actually a track I really like. So let's jump on board with the German, who's been fine in form over the last recent races as he comes powering down towards the start and finish straight. DRS wide open as we head up towards the Senna S. Looking for your braking zone around about 75 metres. Use the camber of the corner to drag you into the apex. Quickly up the gears to 4th to avoid wheel spin, and through the curve of the Sol, turn at number 3. Down the back straight here, the Retro D'Aposta, the opposite straight, that goes back to the old track as we come down to turn number 4, the Decido del Lago, 4th gear, around about 100 miles an hour on the way in. You can use the curb on the exit through the curve of what is turn number 5. Up the hill towards turn number 6, very fast double right-hander, Ferradura is the name of the corner, the horseshoe, as you come through over the top of the hill, around about 140 miles an hour, down to 3rd gear, around about 60 miles an hour, and then into the left-hander, the Pinarino, the little pine tree from the tree that used to be on the inside there, cambered now into the right-hander, the Bico de Pato, the duckbill, and now we power down Megulo, the dive towards the final proper corner on the track. Turn 13, it is Juncal, the junction, and then from here on out it's powering all the way up the hill through what is technically turns 14 and 15 as we head back towards the start and finish line, and Jonathan heads towards the line. Let's bring the standings back up and see what he's managed to do in his first out lap, and it's 1 minute 0.78, so it's 2 times down on what is currently pole position, but a nice lap there, and I hopefully didn't butcher the Portuguese too much.
That's why I'm not attempting it, Andy. You can't butcher something you don't try. But yeah, Jonathan getting P5 there, 3rd row of the grid for the Renault driver. And as you say, he's been in pretty good form recently. He'll be hoping to keep on that form during this race. Danny, meanwhile, is in 2nd place at the moment, only bettered so far by Vasta Racer in the Racing Point, and a chance for Vasta Racer here to have a little bit of fun as well. He's got a chance of grabbing that 3rd place in the championship. It is quite an outside chance, but it's a chance nonetheless, and he'll throw everything at it to try and get that 3rd place medal here tonight. Casper setting a 107.747. If he uses any more 7s, I'll get my tongue tied. But here comes Danny then towards the start-finish line to start a brand new lap in the Williams. Of course, he is the confirmed Drivers' Champion before tonight even starts because of Sven's absence here tonight. No doubt, though, he'll still have a lot of fun. He was actually pretty disappointed that Sven wasn't going to be turning up tonight. He actually pleaded with him to turn up to the race. But I think Danny will just have a little bit of fun here. Goes purple, actually, through Sector 1 by 0.04 of a second. Betters his own lap time as we head now up the hill. And of course, coming out of turn 5 inwards now towards turn 6 and 7, it's the narrowest part of the track, but that's not going to deter drivers from going side by side too wide up the hill there. It would deter me, but that's probably why I'm not racing. I wouldn't try it there. But anyway, Danny now making his way in towards turn 10. And then, of course, you've got the undulation here, which can really upset the car if you've not set it up correctly, in towards 11. Then downwards towards the last braking zone. I bet you one of us is going to say the last corner there. It's going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. But here comes Danny then through that treble left-hander, full throttle all the way through. And in all times, the track cambers towards the apex as Danny now tries to make his way towards the line. A little bit of slipstream maybe from Blizzard, just that last late slipstream, a 107.518 there from the Williams driver. Of course, unintentionally getting that slipstream, but Blizzard there, is that Blizzard? I think it was. Yeah, Blizzard was, I think, going to start a lap time, then saw Danny behind, and then, that's why, because he's giving his teammate the slipstream. That will be why then. going down towards turns 4 and 5. But yeah, two teammates working together there. Finley then, P2 last time out. That was his second podium of the season. What chances has he got of trying to take a win, maybe his second win of the season?
Very good, I would say. I mean, he certainly came onto form as we come into the end of the season. We are going to spend a good wee bit in this qualifying session going through some of the stats of season 19 as well. Well, we do have the chance. I do think Lee's got a really good chance of getting onto the podium again here, possibly even the win. He done quite well here last season. He was up towards the top end. He's actually just gone purple through sector 2 as well as he comes around to complete his current lap. We'll see what the Scotsman can do in the McLaren before we start having a wee chat in regards to what people have done through this season up to now, because this is of course the season finale, and Lee Finley puts himself into second, just under 1/10 shy of Danny's pole position time. So another really good lap there from the McLaren driver, and we'll see what he can do as we are moving along. We'll jump the camera to Lewis, who's on an outlap at the moment. I just want to bring up this first standings here, which I had to hastily redo because I realised Sven wasn't coming. This originally had the permutations on it, but I thought it would be good to have a look at the head-to-head between the Williams pair, because they've been at the front end of the championship pretty much all season. You know, Constructors was done many races ago, around about round 9 I think it was, if I remember correctly. You can see they've got 4 wins each, but Danny better than his teammate in regards to pole positions, 4-0 there, and 1-0 in fastest laps. As you'll see when we come onto the major stats in a moment, not many fastest laps for multiple drivers, was just one. There's only one person with more than that. We'll come onto that shortly. They had very similar podiums as well, and then obviously you can see the podium finishes and everything. It's just very close, but those pole positions from Danny just showing how good he was on the qualifying side of things, getting 4-0. And if we move on to the actual full stats that have came up, you can see everything on screen just now. 4 wins apiece from Danny and Sven, as we've just talked about. 4 pole positions for Danny as well. The most fastest laps of the season before tonight's Speedster in the Haas, with 2 at the Circuit of the Americas and Hockenheim. Every other race was only a different person. Usually with people dropping down the field going on the soft tyres towards the end of the race. You can see the best qualifying head-to-head over a minimum of 8 races was Sparks, who's missed out obviously over the last 3-4 races with his wheel issues. 9-0 over his teammate Gamer, so really interesting one that. Best race head-to-head is Sparks, Vasta Racer and Nolan. 8-1 each of them over their respective teammates, so they're doing really well. Danny's got the best average finish position of 3.4 and the best qualifying average of 3.3. Lewis gains the most positions at the start, 2.9 roughly, and Fabi losing the most with a 5.1 deficit. So that's your stats of season 19 as well, but it's been a really good season. Despite the anticlimactic finish to the championship, it's really been a fantastic season, and I'm looking forward to seeing what next year will bring.
Yeah, season 20 on F1 2020. You literally couldn't write it any better, could you?
Absolutely
But
not.
yeah, absolutely not. And of course, it gives us new circuits to go and explore, including the Vietnam circuit and of course the Dutch circuit as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what those tracks are like. Having seen them in the preview builds, they look interesting, especially the circuit at Hanoi. I wonder how the drivers are going to tackle that one as we head our way through. But yeah, all the while we'll try and second guess how the drivers are going to be feeling, Andy, whilst not being drivers ourselves. I'm sure we'll have a skate around the Hanoi track and maybe the Netherlands as well, just to give us an idea of what the track is like, and then we can watch and learn how we're supposed to take those lines and how we're supposed to lap the track. So I'm looking forward to my Sundays for next season.
Absolutely. I can say in terms of Zandvoort, although obviously it's not on the new game that's coming up, I have raced that on other games like Assetto Corsa, for example. It is very narrow in places, so it's going to be really interesting to see how the drivers handle that one when we go to Holland, because obviously we'll have done the league race for Holland before the actual F1 gets here, because the Dutch Grand Prix has obviously been cancelled for this season, so we're not going there until 2021 now. Still waiting to see if Hanoi for the Vietnam Grand Prix will be rescheduled or not, as Danny goes a bit quicker now, 1:07.348. He's now just shy of 2 times clear of Casper in second. Lee Finley still up there in third, with Blizzard in fourth, Onyx up there in fifth, and all the way down to Gamer in 16th. Three quarters of a tenth cover the field. Hello, this is going to be a fun one.
3/4 of a tenth? Are you
3/4
sure,
of a
Andy?
second. Yeah, I knew what I meant.
I knew what you meant as well, but I just thought I'd nitpick, you know?
Makes a change.
Anyway.
It's usually me doing it with you.
Oh, absolutely, and I welcome it. Why not? Casper, meanwhile, did improve. He's now on a 107.519, 1,000th of a second quicker than Lewis Welsh there in third place. And he was telling us before this race actually started, before qualifying even started, that he does not like this track. Although he doesn't like this track, still a mid 107 when we're expecting low 107s for the pole time. I mean, that's not bad, I have to say.
No, absolutely. We were obviously having a wee chat because, big thanks to both Casper and Tactician. They're actually the coordinators as well for the league. They give us all the stats we need in terms of what I've been able to do in terms of graphics for tyre strategies and the standings. They're the ones that keep me up to date, keep us up to date with the weather. So big thanks to them. But he was saying he doesn't like the track at all. But P2 at the moment, as he comes trundling back to the pits with pretty much no fuel in the car, you'll be happy with that, I'm sure, if he doesn't enjoy the track. For me, this is one of my favourite tracks on the calendar. It's the old school tracks that I like: Silverstone, Interlagos, Suzuka, Spa, those kind of tracks. I just absolutely love those. Montreal as well is another favourite of mine too. So just love the old school feel that you get from these tracks, and the fact, as I mentioned in the Scott Lap, that you actually have corner names rather than just numbers, which is an absolute delight for me, regardless of what language they're in.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately for me, they're in Portuguese, so I've got no chance of pronouncing them correctly. And if there's one thing we all know about me, is that I hate mispronouncing names. It's just not my style. I don't like doing it. I was going to say, actually, I enjoy watching the circuit, but in terms of driving this track, I mean, turn one has always been a stickler with me. No matter what I try, I either lock up and understeer, or the car spins around. Maybe that's just my driving. Maybe it's just because I can't set up the car properly. But the rest of the circuit, I absolutely love. Turn one, though, oh, it's going to take me many more hours to master that one.
Yeah, turn one's definitely an interesting one. That camber to the right hand side as it goes in can help you pull towards the apex of turn one, but it also unsettles the car. You can just easily lock the inside wheel as it's unloaded on the way through, and the outside wheel as well with that. It's just such a tricky track, but that's what makes it for me so enjoyable when you get it right. I was actually having a run around on it the other night in my spare time, and just absolutely love the flow of this place when you get it right. It is absolutely brilliant. Same way, as I say, with some of the other tracks that I've already mentioned. So really glad to see this being the season finale, and I wish in real life this would be the actual season finale rather than Abu Dhabi, but we all know what happens there.
Yeah, well, that's a conversation for another time. We know
Definitely.
your feelings for that one, Andy. I think you made it perfectly clear on a number of occasions. I was actually going to say that there aren't many drivers other than Danny or Sven this season that have actually picked up a race win. In fact, only 3 of them, as far as my memory can serve. Casper with the win at the British Grand Prix at round 3. The next round at Japan, we had Vasta Racer take the win. Obviously, a very memorable race there in terms of Lee Finley extending his stint very, very late on in the race. The other race, meanwhile, was, of course, Lee Finley at the Chinese Grand Prix at round 7, where Danny let the Scotsman through before that checkered flag after they came to blow in the entrance of the pit lane on their stop. So, I mean, Andy and I have been discussing this. We're still discussing it. It was about 5 rounds ago, but we still discuss it to this day. And I think Danny there, he saved himself from going to the stewards. I think it was a very good move in terms of sportsmanship, and also to save himself that trip to the stewards, to save himself more points deductions than maybe he needed to. There was only 2 drivers involved in it, and I think Danny served his penalty by letting Lee Finley go through. And of course, the Scotsman there was absolutely thrilled. That would be an understatement, actually, as we head to the last 60 seconds of this qualifying, the last qualifying session of season 19 here in the Hype Energy Apex Online Racing F1 PS4 League here at Brazil.
Absolutely, you can see Danny getting a massive slipstream off of Liam Parnell's Ferrari as he goes to a 107.2 with that latest lap time. That's not the first time we've seen the Ferraris and the Williams working in tandem through this season either, so they've also got a good relationship between them. Obviously Liam and Danny are within the same esports team as well, so that probably helps matters into the course. But we're now 6/10 of a second, six and a bit tenths of a second between the entire field at the moment. Lee Finley has retired from the session. Not too sure if that was on track or in pit lane. I think it was pit lane, but there was a yellow flag in sector 2 at one point there. 15 seconds to go in the final qualifying session of the season, and it's Danny on top at the moment into that low 107s. We're watching Casper come round. He's been punted down to P3 at the moment, where he's in fact now P4 because Vasta Racer and Surface have both gone ahead, but he's purple through sector 2 coming up the hill. He's got his teammate Tactician to drag him up towards the line. Can he improve on that time? He's 2/10 of a second down. He's got the slipstream heading to the line. Can Casper steal the final pole position? Yes, he can. 107.262, 6/1000 of a second quicker than Danny's pole position time. Danny heading up the hill just now. He's not on a lap at the moment, so we'll work our way down. Here comes Lewis, throwing it into the last corner for Juncal. See, I did say it was the last corner, because in my mind it is. These two don't really count. Here he comes, the only pad runner in the league, heading towards the line with this lovely overhead helicopter shot. I hope we get to see plenty of that during the race. And Lewis puts himself into P3 with that lap time there, a 107.455, and I don't think anyone else is on a lap, so that means qualifying is over. Casper steals the final pole position of the season by 6/1000 of a second from your new reigning champion Danny MG. Lewis gets himself into third, Vasta Racer fourth, and Surface rounding out the top 5. Just over half a second separating the field. Buckle up, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, from a driver who doesn't like this circuit, manages to out-qualify our title in, or championship driver in waiting, Danny, by 7/1000 of a second. That's not bad at all there from Casper. He'll be wanting to try and get a second win this season. It's been ever elusive, that second win, and maybe tonight is the chance to make that into a duo of wins this season. But Casper on pole position then for the Brazilian Grand Prix, as we'll now take you through those qualifying results. And who's going to do it this time? Is it me, Andy?
Yeah, it's your favourite part. You love it.
Oh, you're too nice to me. Well, Casper on pole position by 7/1000 of a second ahead of Danny. Welsh in third with Vasta Racer in fourth. Then Surface in fifth with Onyx in sixth. Dommy seventh with Finley in eighth. Blizzard in ninth. And Nolan Lambert rounds out the top 10. It's Jonathan 11th. Parnell in 12th. Prinens in 13th. Tactician 14th. Speedster 15th. And Gamer rounding out the top 16. As you say, Andy, just over half a second separating the entire field. This is going to be a close one. Let's see how it all goes down as we head towards this Brazilian Grand Prix, the final race in season number 19 here in Apex Online Racing.
Absolutely, and before we get to the grid, let's just have a quick break and a word from our title sponsors of Hype Energy. We'll be back in just a moment. And there we are, having a look at the pit lane, which is a little bit more overcast than it was there for qualifying, but as we've already been told, it is going to be a dry race here this evening, and I'm sure the drivers will be absolutely ecstatic at that. Everybody trying to qualify there on the soft compound tyre, so top 10 will start on the soft tyres, the ones that they qualified on, from Casper down to Nolan, who finished in 10th, and then the other 6 drivers that are here tonight will have a free choice of tyre compound to their discretion. We'll have a quick look before we go through things just now and see who is on what, and you can see, yeah, the rest of the field outside the top 10 have gone for the medium compound tyre. Strategy on screen, what should we expect to see here tonight, Kieran?
Well, if all goes to plan, if all is dry set up here, we're expecting lap 99 to 14, my apologies, for a soft to medium run with that pit window opening there on lap number 9, then to go on to the medium tyres. If you're starting this race on the medium tyres, just like those outside the top 10 really are, you're expected to pit in between lap 19 to 24, but on a set of soft tyres to get you to the end of the race. The one stop should be crucial here. It's a very tricky pit lane as well, especially on the exit. Once that limiter goes off, you're on your own in a very narrow pit lane exit. If you make a mistake in there, it's going to be your own doing there, and it could ruin your race. Very, very easy to pick up front wing damage in there. Do you attack the pit lane exit and hope to gain all that time, or do you play it safe, keep your front wing intact, and maybe lose a position? That will be on the drivers' minds. I'm sure that in the drivers' minds they'll push on that pit lane exit, because of course they are. They're race drivers.
Yeah, they'd certainly be attacking on the way in. It's very easy to get a pit lane speeding penalty by doing that as well. It's probably one of the quickest entries into a pit lane on the entire calendar, I would think. Maybe Monza's the only one that's maybe close enough to it. Even though you're going through a quick S-bend, it's very shallow, so you can just basically straight line it and just attack it. So that could make all the difference as we come to the end of tonight. But as they head towards the line for the final time here this season, Casper leading the way, the champion Danny MG in second, Lewis up there in third with Vasta Racer in fourth, 3 race winners inside the top 4. And for the final time here tonight, we're getting ready to turn the red lights off and go racing here on Apex Online Racing. One final time it is then for F1 2019 before we head into the new game. 5 red lights. And the final round is underway, and it looks like a decent start there from Danny, who's going to get alongside Casper into turn 1 already. We dropped to the back of the field by mistake. Sideways, contact between Casper and Danny as Casper manages to hold on to the lead round the outside into the Sen Ice. Danny has to drop down to second. Lewis is on the back of him in third. You can see Vasta Racer holding on there. Jonathan's had a good start, already dispatching the Blizzard and Nolan as they head down towards turn number 4. Huge crash. That's Vasta Racer, and that's one of the Toro Rossos. That's Surface as well. They're going to drop down to the back of the field. Somehow they missed the wall there. I was expecting them to go totaling right into the actual outside wall there, but they've managed to hold on. We're looking at Liam Parnell being overtaken here. Prinez up the inside into Ferradura. That's not really an overtaking spot normally on this track, but a lovely little move there from the Racing Point driver, getting him up the field. Vasta Racer and Surface carry on. We'll need to see if they've got any damage, but through the Bico de Bato for the first time, Casper, Danny, Lewis, your top 3 still. Onyx up to 4th after that incident between Vasta Racer and Surface. Domi up to 5th, Lee Finley in 6th, and Jonathan 4 places gained on the opening lap already. Fantastic start from the German Renault driver, looking to finish on a high for the 4th race in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. A great start then all the way through, apart from, of course, Vasta Racer and Surface there. But it's a great start as well for Casper. He knew he had to get that start underway, and boy, did he. Just about losing out, though, in towards the first couple of corners. Welsh follows him, then Onyx in that battle as well. Meanwhile, behind them, Vasta Racer and Surface there, it just went a little bit wrong. I think there was contact going in towards turn 4, and they both went off there. Surface has since come into the pit and put on a set of hard tyres. That might get him to the end of the race, although he's going to have to be careful with that tyre wear towards the end of this one.
Yeah, absolutely need to be very careful. A safety car would do him quite well. We do still obviously missing a few drivers tonight, even though it's the end of the game cycle. Still fantastic to see 16 drivers here this evening. So absolutely brilliant stuff once again. I'm looking forward to a full grid when we get to Australia for season 20. We're in the lap number 2, and I do expect we'll see a lot of following at the moment as drivers trying to keep their tyres in good condition, waiting for the pit stop window to open up, which is going to be around about lap number 9. But Casper still leads Danny in second. DRS will be enabled after they cross the line, and there we go. Detection point is at the bottom of the hill here into what is turn number 2. As you can see them going through, we're currently watching Onyx trying to just follow through. There's the line at the apex of turn 2. That is the detection point for the DRS down the back straight, down towards turn number 4 at the Cido del Lago, and no one's looking to make a move at the moment. And I do expect we'll have a bit of a train of DRS with people just keeping it nice and tidy at the moment. The one we might want to watch will be Vasta Racer. Surface is back into the pits again for the second lap, and I think there we go. I thought that might be the case. We see a retirement already, and such a shame. Surface has been in the wrong place at the wrong time in a couple of races this year, getting caught out in some other people's incidents. He nearly got the strategy perfect in China for the late rain, and it was just a lap too late for him. So he'll be hoping for better luck next season, and hopefully we'll see him back for season 20. First retirement is the Toro Rosso driver.
And retiring on his own accord as well. Meanwhile, Blizzard here in 8th place, chasing down Jonathan with Lee Finley up ahead as well. I wonder if there's going to be a little bit of a help here from the both McLarens here. Meanwhile, Blizzard is closing very quickly on the Renault here. He'll look, where will he go? Down to the inside he will go now, on towards turn 1. The McLaren's got the inside line ahead of Jonathan there. Can he stop that car in time? You bet he can. Blizzard there takes away 6th place here.
Yeah, so he moves up to 7th place. You were right, you were going the right way at the first point. Lee's in 6th. Hey, there we go, got my own back. So yeah, nice move there from Blizzard. He's obviously got a good chance here of wrapping up P3 in the championship tonight. He started in there, got a little bit of a gap over Casper, who's in 4th, and Vasta Racer now dropped down the field. That will certainly help, but Casper leading might just help him. The Dutchman trying to get P3 for what would be the 2nd season in a row in the championship. Finished P3, if I do remember, last season. No, actually, it was 2nd last season, so he'll nearly have filled out the podium. He'll be hoping to take the championship in season 20 to make it a 1-2-3 over 3 different seasons, but that's a long way still to go in this race before we even get there. At Toro Rosso in the background, Nolan Lambert's looking very racy once again on the back of Jonathan. Nolan's another driver who, as the season's progressed on, has really started to come into his own with a lot more consistency and some great races. Remember that race in Germany where he ended up in P2 on the podium. Fantastic stuff from him, and he's really just starting to come into his own here, and he'll be looking to carry that forward into the new game as well. Can he do anything on Jonathan out of the Curva de Sol and down the back straight towards turn number 4? Obviously Jonathan's got the DRS to help him, so I don't think the Frenchman's going to be close enough this time to make a move on the German in the French car, and he's going to have to follow him through sector 2 unless he gets very opportunistic. Meanwhile, back up front, Lewis and Danny are getting pretty close together. They're dragging Onyx along as well, along with Domi, who is a reserve once again for Sparks, who's still having his wheel issues. So again, we'll hopefully see him in season 20. And it seems that the top 5 are just trying to break away from the rest of the field. There's just over a second between Domi and Lee Finlay, meaning the McLaren has just got himself back into DRS there, but it's getting very, very close, and we could end up with either a 5-car train or basically the entire field in a train if they can close back up. But lap 5 of 36 is still a long way to go here in Brazil.
Absolutely, Lewis is wanting to get past Danny ahead of him as we make our way towards lap number 6, but Casper still leads the way then as we make our way once again towards turn 1. The thing with Lewis, though, is that he's got to try and pick his moment to perfection here as we head our way through the center S. Of course, you don't want to be running too deep. He gets turn 3 a little bit wrong. That could open him up to Onyx behind, but as we make our way now down towards turn 4, it looks like they're all going to stay pretty much in single file, at least for now.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a quick jump back there to Tactician, who was getting very close. You can see Vasta Racer there going up the inside of Gamer into turn number 4. DRS assistance got on the brakes, but look, he's ran wide, and that's going to allow the Alfa Romeo back through. So just a little bit too hot on the brakes there from Vasta Racer, and he's not able to get by and back up a position, having had that lap 1 incident down into turn number 4 with Surface, who is our only retirement off the race. Doesn't look like it damaged the racing point. He did close back up to the field relatively quickly, so he needs to try and make the strategy work now, because he is of course on the soft compounded tyres. Back to the front of the field we look as they rise up the hill towards the pit boxes once again. Samba beating the grandstands to the right hand side of the drivers. No time to listen to that though. They're concentrating on where the braking point is coming into turn number 1. Casper, Danny, Lewis, Onyx and Domi all go flashing by in a whirl of colour here in Interlagos, and it's still as you were. Top 5 of the field. Meanwhile, down the field, Speedster has just sneaked up the inside on Tactician with a nice little move there, and now he's got to look out for Gamer behind us, the Finnish driver, who's, I'm sure he'll even admit himself, not had the greatest of seasons. He looked like he was going to really move forward this season after a good season 18, as he's going to take the long way round here into the Decido Lago. The American driver was going to squeeze onto the outside, and look at that from Gamer. Opportunistic or what there, he steals away the position, and Tactician, thinking he might gain 12th position back, now drops to 14th, and he's got a racing point with a set of soft compound tyres right behind. But Tactician certainly be looking for the end of this season. It's not been gone the way he wanted. Certainly got a lot of talent there, and it's just not been this season. There goes Vasta Racer up the inside, doing the Lewis Hamilton move on Alex Albon. The only difference is they didn't come together with that one, and Tactician holds on to the position still for now, but it just seems he's starting to struggle in that Mercedes.
He is, yes, but he really left the door open there for Gamer to just get that position through. He's up to P13 now as we make our way all the way along that straight. Vasta Racer will be hoping to try and get the move done again on Tactician, but he's just not quite close enough as we make our way now in towards turn 1. Meanwhile, Nolan Lambert is right on the back of Jonathan here. You've got also the 2 McLarens fighting away for P6 here. P6 and P7, the 2 of them right now. No doubt they'll try and work together for now, but I wonder Blizzard here might have the favour of team orders. If there's a slim chance he can hold on to P4 in this championship, then he's definitely going to take it.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's another driver who's really came on song as the seasons came along. Great consistency. One of the things that I used to joke about last season was how many penalties Blizzard would have come the end of the race. It was enough to end up in Narnia sometimes. 15 and 18 seconds, one member on a couple of occasions. Cost him a victory in France as well, the penalties too, so he's definitely improved on that side, a lot more consistent there, and we know he's a quick driver. He's won multiple championships elsewhere, and he's just starting to bring that along to Apex Online Racing as well, which is brilliant to see, because that just means the field is going to be even closer as we come along into season number 9, as Danny gets very close to the back there of Casper. You can see Jonathan and Lambert switching back and forth as the German tries to defend the position there from the Frenchman, and it looks like Nolan's going to make the move possibly down the back straight. As you can see, the pit stop window is now open for those on the soft compound tyres. Toro Rosso looks to the inside. That's a half-hearted move. That was always going to end up in contact, and he's bumped him off. Jonathan flies off the side of the track there, and well, that's an interesting one indeed. He's managed to come back on. Nolan in 9th, Jonathan down to 10th. There's wing damage to the Renault car. See if there's any on the Toro Rosso in a minute, but that was almost as if he was half-hearted there, was the Toro Rosso driver, and contact was made, and then a second bit of contact got him the position, but it's caused damage to both of them. There's damage to the right-hand side wing on Nolan and the left-hand side on Jonathan, so that's not good at all for either of them.
Not at all. And yeah, it's what those half-hearted moves are the most dangerous ones, where you want to commit and then halfway through you think, actually, no, this isn't a good idea. By that point, it's too late to do anything about it. Meanwhile, lap number 10 then, with Casper still leading the way ahead of Danny, Welsh and Onyx here. Domi not too far behind either. Meanwhile, Blizzard is right behind his teammate Finley here. I wonder if McLarens are going to be doing some team orders very, very shortly. Lambert is in then with those soft tyres. Meanwhile, Blizzard moves to the left-hand side with some DRS down the back straight and towards turn 4. And easy as you like, then Blizzard is ahead of his teammate now. He'll want to try and close in on Domi ahead of him. 2 seconds separates them.
Yeah, 2 second gap means he's got a little bit of work to do to close up. The guys ahead all have the slipstream and the DRS to keep them ahead, but we know Blizzard does have some good pace in that car, as we were just discussing, so he could close up, especially if these guys start to struggle on these tyres, because all of them that started in the top 10 on the soft compound, the C3 tyre, and they're expected to go between lap 9 to 14, so as you've seen, we are in the pit window now for the soft compound runners, and some of them might start to... Oh, that's Lewis getting a big tank slapper there, coming out of Jean Cal. He's lost the position to Onyx. He's going to lose out the position to Domi as well here, as the Alfa Romeo reserve sweeps around and swipes across his nose as well. Meanwhile, up the front, Danny is going round the outside on Casper. This could be a fantastic move, and he's got it done down the hill at the end of the Senna. Danny MG, your champion for season 19, round the outside. A brilliant move, but look out, because here comes Casper with DRS down towards turn number 4. Danny's going to squeeze him to the inside, and Casper retakes the position. 2 brilliant moves from these 2 brilliant drivers. Plenty going on there. Pit stop starting. Blizzard and Vasta Race are in, so they're the first of the soft compound runners into pit lane, but Danny round the outside at the Senna S, but Casper was like, no, you are not having that, and takes it straight back down towards turn number 4. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, great stuff between the two, and a season of what could have been if Casper just had a little bit of lady luck on his side. It really could have been a very, very different season, but right now he retakes that lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Onyx and Domi are trying to take advantage of the top 2 battling away. Domi is now only half a second back on Onyx. Onyx isn't too far away either from the Williams of Danny, as they now make their way up the hill through that treble left-hander onwards now towards the start-finish line. Casper still leading the way.
Casper still leading the way. We'll need to see if Danny fancies another move coming up towards turn 1. He's gaining, but not close enough when we get to the braking zone. Has to back out of that one. Lee Finley into pit lane as well now. So the top 5 carry on, whereas the rest of the soft runners have already pitted. Nolan's was obviously kind of forced between what happened between him and Jonathan down here into turn number 4 a few laps ago on lap number 9, with the top 5 continuing on. But do expect them in very shortly. They'll need to be careful of the undercut. Blizzard has got his teammate in fact he's just got ahead of his teammate, so those two have got a bit of clean air between them and the next car, which is Tactician, and they've also got a bit of air between them and the car behind, which is Vaster Racer. So if the McLarens can work well, they could drag themselves back into this one once the pit stops all work out.
Yeah, they really could. If they work together, don't battle away, they really do have a good chance of getting that undercut to work. Casper's still leading the way though, but you'll see here Danny hounding him all the way down that straight here as we make our way out of the last braking zone in through that treble left-hander. Let's see what happens here, Andy.
Yeah, absolutely. One more time we go, and Danny's got the... Oh, Casper pulls off, so he didn't want any of that. Makes a late move into the pit lane. Danny takes the lead of the race. Domi carries on. Casper, Onyx and Lewis all into pit lane at the end of lap 12, start of lap 13. Mercedes mechanics go to work. Pretty smooth pit stop there from Brackley's finest, and a set of the medium compound tyres go on. You can see there Onyx and Lewis. Onyx just staying ahead off the Red Bull as they come down this. This is such a tricky pit lane, as we were talking about. It's basically a mini Senna S, and it is a lot narrower, and it goes all the way around the inside of turn number 3 and then comes out onto the back straight. And look at that, that's one of the McLarens there. It's Blizzard slotting himself into the middle between Onyx and Lewis, so he's actually gained a position there and got himself in amongst the battle between these guys. So that's worked out really nicely for Blizzard, getting himself in amongst everything. His teammates not too far behind either, so the undercut working very nicely for the McLaren drivers, and they've now brought themselves into this battle, which is technically going to be for the lead if it all carries on as is. Back to your leader though up front, Danny MG, already crowned season 19 champion. His teammate not here this evening, and he's heading for pit lane. Just look how much he can attack into pit lane, getting it slowed down to the 50-mile-an-hour speed limit. Domi's followed him in as well, so that's going to put the medium runners, Prinez, Liam Parnell, Speedster and Gamer into the lead of the race. We'll go back and have a look at the on-track action, and let's pick up Casper and see where he is in comparison to Danny very shortly. He's going to pass by Danny. Where is the Williams coming out of pit lane? He's on the inside of us. We can't see it from here. There he is. You can just see him over the barrier there, and I think Casper's going to hold on to this one as he comes round the curve of the Sol. It's going to be so tight coming out of pit lane, but Casper's just held on to the lead by the slimmest of margins after the pit stops, and Danny's going to have to do it all over again and try and make the move stick. Meanwhile, Onyx has just got back by on Lewis. They're still having a little fight down the field. Lee Finley's got by the pair of them as well, so I wonder if these two have had a little bit of a scrap going on, and then the McLarens have benefited.
Yeah, absolutely. Welsh has run into the back of someone in towards turn 1. Clumsy. He locked up going into turn 1. Too much speed, and he's really dealt himself a huge blow here. Still waiting to see if there's any damage to that Red Bull, especially on the front wing. Didn't quite see who he ran into the back of, but he got his braking all wrong. Looks like he's got away with damage scot-free, but he's lost a mountain of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I think it must have been Onyx, because both of them were ahead of Lee Finley last time we looked, so I'm guessing they've had a bit of a coming together between themselves, as you say. Lewis into the back of Onyx, and it's cost both of them, and Lee Finley's gone, thank you very much, I'll have some of that, because they've gone from being ahead of the Scotsman to being 4.5 seconds behind them now, so that's surely what's happened there. Meanwhile, Danny still trying to close in on Casper. He wants to round out the season with his 5th victory of the year, and what a way to crown the championship would that be. Even though his teammate's not here, take it with the win. That's how you want to close out the season. Up the front, Prinez leads from Liam Parnell in 2nd, Speedstand 3rd, Gamer 4th and Tactician 5th. They are the only guys still to make a pit stop in this race, having started on the medium compound tyres, and you can see that Nolan and Jonathan have both gone for a set of the hard compound tyres down the field, so that's an interesting one indeed, that they've decided to go for a harder compound rather than the medium. They were just about at the pit stop window, the very start of it, for the soft compound tyres, so that'll be an interesting one. Maybe they're not too keen on running the mediums too long into the race and a bit worried on wear, but they are going to struggle with the speed of those tyres and keeping the temperature in them as well. Danny now, as we approach half race distance in a couple of laps, does he fancy making another move on the Dutchman up ahead? He's weaving a break, just try and fill the mirrors there of the Mercedes up towards turn number 1, just letting them know, I am still here, I am still fighting, I am not away anywhere. And he's just trying to distract Casper, but Casper, he knows what he's doing. He's very good driver in his own right. You see Danny just doing it again to distract. Meanwhile, Onyx and Lewis side by side out of the CNS, and Onyx holding on to that position for the meantime as well. But again, Lewis has now got DRS down towards turn number 4. Can he get his braking right this time round into the Cido del Lago? It looks like he's got that move pulled off this time. No issues. And the Red Bull up into what is P11. Can he now close that 6-second gap up to lead? Oh, and Jonathan and Nolan have had another coming together. And the Renault has gone flying off the tracks, now into the back wall. Virtual safety car. Jonathan's no doubt probably going to retire, I would imagine now. Just caught the end of that there. Contact between them. The black and yellow car goes flying. And it's got absolutely no front wing. That's the second time they've had a coming together.
Yeah, absolutely. Jonathan here. I don't know whether he's going to be coming back to the pit lane here or whether he'll probably come back to the pit lane to retire the car. And unfortunately, could be the second retirement here. But, I mean, you still got a chance of a safety car in this race. It's not over, not by a long shot, with this VSC being deployed here at Interlagos, and we're pretty much almost at half race distance. In 2 laps time we will be at half race distance. At this moment in time we are under full course yellow until now we're back under green flag racing here, and who will be the beneficiary of that one? Well, Vasta Racer trying to be the beneficiary here as they make their way through the center S, but Onyx just about held on there as we make our way through, and Lambert has retired now in the pit lane. So he was caught up in that instant with Jonathan. Jonathan looks like he's coming into the pits as well. Gets himself a 5-second time penalty and right on cue retires from the race. So 2 retirements there, both on their own accord, not through damage. Both out of the race. Lambert and Jonathan ending their season right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Second coming together between them as well, and I'm sure they'll be having a few choice words with each other somewhere outside on the internet. But leaves us with 13 drivers still on track to finish this season. We're currently watching Danny hounding the Mercedes. Williams trying to make its way through, but Casper, he's going to be desperate for that second victory, then take that into the next season, season 20, taking that momentum through. But Danny wants to finish the season on a high. He wants to make it a 5th win of the year and finish off getting the championship here tonight with a win, so you can put it in absolutely no doubt in mind that that was what was going to happen. We'll see if he's got any chance coming down towards turn number 4. He's just going to pull out and try and put the Mercedes off, but he's not close enough. Meanwhile, up towards a bit further forward, your medium compound runners are still going round. A couple of laps yet before their pit window will be open. And you can see here Speedster very close to the back of Liam Parnell, Dragon Gamer and Tactician along, so this lot have been pretty close together for the majority of the race, and we will expect to see them into pit lane very shortly indeed for a change of tyres. That will then put them on the soft compound tyre. It's going to make them quick towards the end of the race, so they're going to have to make them last around about 16 to 14 laps depending on when they decide to come in. They can pit any time after they cross the line this time by. We'll just see if Speedster fancies making a move on the Ferrari up towards turn number 1. He pulls out the slipstream. There goes the American up the inside on the Ferrari, gets it slowed down in time and cuts off the apex into turn number 2. Gets a little bit of a bump from Liam on the way through, and that is a position gained for Speedster up into what is P2 at the moment. Meanwhile, Danny trying to catch back up, as you can see on screen. Pit window for the medium runners is now open. So expect to see the top 5 pitting any time now, and then the next 5 laps of this race. And we'll wait and see how that one all pans out. Meanwhile, this is your de facto battle for the lead between Danny MG and Casper. You can see there Domi up in what is currently 3rd position at the moment, benefiting from the incident between Lewis and Onyx, which happened off stream that we didn't quite see. That put them down the field, so that's allowed Domi up into P3, and he's had a couple of good races filling in come to the end of this season. He done pretty well last week as well in Austria. He was in good solid points paying position, looking to try and cement possibly a seat for next season maybe.
Maybe indeed. This would be the race that proves it here, as we see battling going on here as we head away towards the start finish line. Speedster staying ahead of Parnell, Gamer and Tactician also.
There goes Danny. Starting to come across. Danny's got the inside line. He was left just a car's width and no more up against that pit wall, and that was all the invitation the Spaniard needed, and he takes over the position from Casper up to P6, which is the net lead of the race. Danny MG with a gutsy move right up against the pit wall. That could have gone all wrong and taken both of them out, but great driving from the pair of them. Casper just gave him enough room and no more. We were on board for that one, and that was so close.
Oh, so close indeed. And yeah, great move from the champion-elect here of Danny to take what could be the net lead of this race. This is where Casper needs his teammate in Tactician here. Obviously, the pit window is open for the medium tyre runners, but they're only about 3 seconds back from this train here that includes Speedster, Parnell, Gamer, and Tactician. I wonder how many of them are going to come into the pits on this lap.
Yeah, we'll need to wait and see. Top 5 still to pit. Will anyone decide to go in? Do they feel they can take the soft compound tyres to the end of the race? Well, there goes Tactician, so Casper's not going to get that help. Prinez has came into the pits as well. So 2 of them decide that now is the time, end of lap 20, start of lap 21, for the pit stop from the medium onto the soft compound tyre. And the Racing Point and Mercedes teams get to work in the pit lane. Meanwhile, looking back here, Danny looks like he's got himself in just enough of a gap to keep out of any attack range from Casper behind. He's got the DRS to help him close up, but he's not going to be close enough as they come along. Meanwhile, Prinez looks like he's going to come back out into a gaggle here with Lewis Welsh trying to go around the outside, but Prinez has got the fresh soft compound tyres. He's going to have the grip, keeps the inside line. Can he now pull away because he's now got a train behind him? Lewis, Onyx, who have been fighting all race long and are dragging along Vasta Racer. So Onyx and Lewis are the meet in a Racing Point sandwich at the moment. It's definitely Prinez will be trying to get away from that with the grippy new tyres there. Lovely overhead helicopter shot as we go through Pinarino and into the Bico de Pato on lap 21 of 36. We come back up to the front though. Casper, he's still around about half a second down. Looks like Danny's just got the measure at the moment. And if you remember back to last season, anyone that was watching is Speedster and Gamer pit, leaving Liam Parnell in the lead of the race and yet to stop. Danny won last season, which I believe, if I remember, was his first AOR top tier victory, and he had to defend with all his life and all his skill over the last 10 to 15 laps. It was a fantastic defensive show. Is he going to make it 2 in a row and do that again? We'll need to wait and see.
He could be indeed. I mean, he's got nothing to lose here at all. He's got the championship wrapped up. I think he'll be trying to invite Casper to have a little bit of a battle fun here as we make our way on towards lap 22 and a half, if you like, of this race. 15 laps to go, 14 and a half if you're picky, as Danny pretty much leads Casper here. They've only got Parnell ahead of them, but Parnell is yet to pit in this race. He'll have to pit soon, though, because that pit window is close to closing on him as he now makes his way down towards that last braking zone of turn 12 before that treble left-hander. We'll see if Parnell comes into the pits. He has been leading for 1 lap as he makes his way through. Is he going to end that lap in the lead as he comes into the pit lane? My guess is yes, and my guess is absolutely spot on. The Ferrari then entering the pit lane.
Absolutely, Kieran McGinley nailing it once again as Casper sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 10.0, which actually makes me feel pretty good from the race I done the other night, because I was a 1 minute 11, so I feel pretty good. Lap 23 of 36, not long ago, Prinez setting the fastest lap of the race now again with a fresh soft compound, a 1 minute 9.7. No surprises to see that happening. So with the pit stop phase now out the way, Danny leads from Casper in second, Domi up in third, and you got Blizzard in fourth, Lee Finlay in fifth position. Prinez, the highest soft compound runner, in sixth, so he's got a wee bit of time to make up. Time to get to the lead is 9.5 seconds. He's got the laps to do it. Does he have the pace and the tyre wear to keep it there? Lewis Welsh, as you can see, he is in 7th position and he's about time down. Onyx is in 8th, 1.5 seconds down from Lewis, so he started to drop behind from the Red Bull driver. Vasta Racer in 9th and Speedster rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, Prinens has a good opportunity to try and get this high points finish, maybe even a podium. He was on the podium at the very first round of the season in Bahrain, but hasn't been on the podium since that race. He'll be wanting to try and get some good pace here tonight. But meanwhile, Casper trying to follow Danny all the way through into turn 1. Meanwhile, Domi, as the reserve driver, has a huge chance here to try and grab himself a podium and maybe even a full-time seat for next season. We'll have to see how he gets on, but he's got a big pressure from the two McLarens of Blizzard and Finley right behind him. They worked so well as a team, the two McLarens, so far this season, and I'm sure they'll work together one more time.
Yeah, absolutely. McLarens are very good at working together, as a lot of the teammates are here in the top tier. They know that it makes good sense not to hinder each other, get some assistance with slipstream, etc. Domi obviously in the middle between Casper and Danny and the two McLarens, but doing really well, showing some really good credentials. Be interesting to see what he can do with a full-time seat if he was to get one and decides to sign up for season number 20. But Prinez, let's see, what's the gap now between him and the leaders? He's gained about half a second in that last lap, so he's certainly got the pace there. If he can just keep chipping away lap after lap, he really needs these guys up front to start battling each other, and then obviously what that'll do is allow him the chance to just start closing up. Meanwhile, Casper goes to the inside into the centre, dives up the inside on the Williams. Danny tried to break the slipstream, went back to the racing line, decided it was better to be there and just let it happen, and Casper moves into the lead of the race. But watch out, because here comes Danny down the back straight. He's going to have to go the long way round into the Decido del Lago. Can he get the move done? Switching between the cameras to try and see the best angle possible. They're still side by side coming through turn number 5 and heading up towards Ferradura. Now this is going to be interesting, because this is a 150-mile-an-hour corner and they're still side by side going up the hill. Casper's going to sweep round the outside and hold on to the position. That's a lovely little move there. Good little battle between the two of them, but Domi is now right on the back of them.
Yeah, Domi's got to try and take advantage of this one with the two leaders battling away as we head in towards turn 10. Danny has got to be careful here of that Alfa Romeo. As well as that, he's got the two McLarens to worry about as we make our way down towards the final breaking point of the circuit. Finley, who is a race winner this season at the Chinese Grand Prix, Blizzard will be wanting to try and add a race win here in this season. He's only got one more chance to do it as they now head away down the front straight.
Indeed, and here goes Danny. He's going to be made to go the long way round this time as we go into lap 26, but DRS so powerful there, got the run, got the move done just before the braking zone. I think Casper knew the right thing to do was just to back off and get a good run down the hill here and through the curve of the Sol, but Danny will have the battery up a wee bit there just to try and pull away, and he's done just enough to stay out of attacking range from the Mercedes, so Casper's going to have to follow him all the way through this tricky infield section and all the way back towards the start and finish line to give it another try. Prinez has got the gap down to 7.3 seconds, so that racing point is starting to reel them in, but he doesn't want to take too much life out of the tyres, or he won't be able to do much when he catches up to these guys. He's got 5.5 seconds till he catches up to the back of it, which is Lee Finley in 5th position. When they cross the line, there'll be 10 laps to go for the season finale here in Apex Online Racing's Hype Energy F1 League. This is the PS4 top tier that you're watching as always. The first one's up on a Sunday evening. Thank you very much for joining us once again. I hope you've enjoyed all the action tonight and throughout the season, as well as we finish off season 19 with a bang. Speaking of a bang, someone who wants to make one is Domi. He's right in the back of Casper, but decides to pull out of the slipstream, save a bit of battery up there, so he could have maybe got the run, it looked like, but he's decided to play a wee bit strategic at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of that pressure, some of that nerves will be kicking in as we make our way all the way towards turn 4. Speedster getting a move done on Vasta Racer in towards turn 1. Speedster gets the move done. Now Tactician could have a little bit of a look here down the back straight towards turn 4. He'll have the DRS wide open. Vasta Racer will have the same. Tactician looking for a move up the inside now. Side by side they go, and Tactician gets the move done. No real battling there from Vasta Racer. He's on the medium tyres, but Tactician now moves up into the points.
Absolutely, so points at the moment for Tactician, 1 point for 10th position, and he'll be looking to try and at least finish with some sort of positive to the end of what's been a pretty difficult season for the talented Finnish driver. We come back towards the front end though. Danny's got just enough of a gap before they take the run up the hill out of Juncal towards the line. I don't think Casper's going to be close enough to try anything into the Senna S this time by, as you see the two McLarens slide on by in the papaya orange colours that we've come to know and love, the throwback to when Bruce McLaren made the team all the way back in the 60s. I've got to say, although I was so used to seeing them in the silver of the Silver Arrow style colours, I do like the orange. I love throwbacks, I love my history, so I can't say I don't dislike it, because it would be a lie.
Absolutely. We don't call them the walking Wikipedia for nothing. I have to say that right now.
Yes, come up with the most ridiculous facts you can ever think of, and yet I can't remember what I had for my dinner yesterday, so there you go. Kieran doesn't know what
Just
to say.
yeah, they say prepare for everything in these streams, but I don't know what to prepare for that one. Switching of positions for the Haas's there for Speedster and Onyx going up towards turn 6 and 7. Speedster on the soft tyre, so it made sense really. Onyx can now try and put a little bit of a spanner in the works for Tactician here to try and quell his charge and quash it up the field, and just on the bubble of the points here. But Domi is really looking on the back of that Mercedes. He knows here that one false move and it's all over. If he wants to make an impact, he's got to make it now.
Absolutely, going on to lap 29 of 36, so not long to go now in this Brazilian Grand Prix here at Interlagos on Apex Online Racing. Danny leads, Casper in second, there's Domi in the Alfa Romeo, replacing Sparks in third. Then the two McLarens, the Blizzard and Lee Finley, fourth and fifth, just sitting there waiting to pick up any scraps if these guys decide to get a little bit over ambitious. But I certainly don't expect to see much of that, even as we come towards the end of the race. We'll figure out what there's Perez with a 3-second penalty, and I don't think that's his first one either, because it's been pointed out in the chat that he's got a penalty and that's going to ruin his charge up the field. I'm sure that you can have a wee check on things and come back to us in just a moment's time, Kieran, about what the penalty situation is for most of the front runners as we come into the closing stages here at Interlagos for the final round. 13 runners, the 16 still going. Retirements from Surface, who was caught out in a lap 1 incident, go with Vasta Racer down into turn number 4, and Nolan Lambert and Jonathan with their second collision together around about mid-race distance almost, and they both decided to retire in pit lane afterwards. So they are your 3 retirements from the race. Lap 30 of 36. Any news on the penalties there, Kieran?
Well, what I can tell you right now is that Prinens has 2 penalties plus a 5-second time penalty for that pit lane instance speeding into it. So at the moment, by my calculations, he's got 11 seconds worth of penalties. So that's really going to bump him down the field. Blizzard here, 2 warnings. He's right on the bubble of receiving that 3rd warning and a penalty. Finley with the 1 warning, only a handful of laps ago. Domi only with 1 warning as well on this medium tyre stint. Casper, meanwhile, had a warning on lap 1, but I think that was down to contact rather than track limits. He's got 1 track limit warning made on lap 6 anyway. And for Danny, inconclusive, I'm afraid. I simply don't know the penalties for Danny, unfortunately.
Oh, it's actually not showing you anything. Okay, well, that's an interesting one. I think Casper's got what first one on lap 1 will be the bit of contact between him and Danny going into turn 1 when Danny nearly got the move and got the lead of taking away the pole position from Casper. So that will likely be that one, as Vasta Racer picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. And I think he's gone off the track as well, possibly, because he's just dropped down 2 positions. He's not got any wing damage I can see, so whatever he's done has cost him a position to both Gamer and Liam Parnell there, because he was actually just ahead of him just before all of that happened. But coming into the final 5 laps of this race now, Danny leads, Casper second, Domi third, Blizzard 4th, Lee Finley 5th, the top 5 all in the screenshot. You see Prinez there just coming into the picture in the background, 5 seconds down on this pair. I think even without the penalties, I don't think he'd be close enough come at the end of the race to do anything with the top 5. He's going to drop down the field as it is with those penalties. Then you've got Lewis in 7th, he's got a little bit of clean air to Speedstar behind in 9th, but of course the American is on a set of soft compound tyres, so he'll be trying to close in very quickly indeed. His teammate Onyx in 9th, just playing rear gunner at the moment, keeping Tactician at bay in 10th, he's on the soft compound as well, as is Gamer and Liam Parnell, 11th and 12th, and Vasta Racer, the back of the field, in 13th. He's on 20-lap-old medium tyres, so he was one of the first ones to pit from the softs, having got knocked down the field on lap 1 with that incident with Surface, and it's been a bit of a slog for the German throughout this race, unfortunately.
Well, 5 laps to go here at Interlagos. 5 laps left of this season. And to be honest with you, any of the top 5 could walk away with the win here tonight if they keep their heads down now, going down the back straight. Andy, you need to take charge of this one.
Okay, well, I'm getting a lovely overhead helicopter shot, as you see there. Casper just closing up to the back. Vasta Racers retired from the session in pit lane. And considering he had a few penalties and struggling along, I'm not too surprised as his season ends on a sour note, unfortunately. A race winner back in Suzuka. Looked like he might be in with a chance at the title, but things have just not gone his way as the season's progressed. He'll be hoping to come back and try again next season. He's had a really good season though. Best F2 graduate throughout this season, the defending champion, really showing his form at some races, so we'll need to keep an eye on him next season. Danny's just doing enough, same as last season for Danny, closing up and then just keeping the gap nice and tidy, not losing the DRS unfortunately, but he's keeping enough of a gap to Casper, and this is exactly what he did last season in season 18 on his way to a fantastic first victory here in AOR F1, so he's looking to try and make it 2 in a row here in Brazil.
Yeah, absolutely. Domi here is looking with bated breath to see if he can have a chance of a podium here. But Casper trying to chase down Danny. It's just slightly out of reach then as we head in towards turns 4 and 5. But all 5 of them know that if there's a mistake that's made by that particular driver, then the other 4 can instantly try and take advantage, especially the pressure is on Danny. He can simply afford to make 0 mistakes throughout this race. Otherwise, he's going to be handed by a Mercedes, an Alfa Romeo, and both McLarens. I can tell you that right now. I think the idea and the strategy behind all of these drivers is that let Danny punch the hole in the air. Let him just let you recharge your battery, save your tyres, save your fuel, so that in the last 2 laps you can really attack and try and save everything you've got for that final lap of this race. We'll have to see if I'm right. I doubt it though. Oh, well, big loss of control from Blizzard there. Going out of the final braking zone as we make our way through that treble left-hander. Lee Finley here might be all over the back of his teammate then as we head all the way now down that start-finish straight towards turn 1 with 3 laps to go. But Finley not quite close enough to take advantage of his teammate's mistake there. And that's exactly what I was talking about there. You cannot afford to make a mistake, not this late into this race.
No, absolutely, and another 10th lost and Blizzard wouldn't have a DRS either. He'd be lost out on that one too. But since we're on Lee Finley, let's run through the top 5 and have a look at the battery status for all 5 drivers. So Lee's got his down, he's actually using it at the moment, down in the 30%. Blizzard's at 16% at the moment, so he's really struggling. Domi's got a low battery as well, but I did notice Casper, but just as that happened to Blizzard, he was at about 80 odd percent. He's dropped down to 60 odds at the moment as he tries to chase Danny. But Danny's doing a really good job considering he doesn't have the DRS to help him to save some battery up. He's still in the 50s, using a little bit here and there, just up and down, up to 2, down to 0 again for braking zones. You watch the number flick up here to 5 real quickly, and Casper getting a tank slapper on the way out there, so that's going to help him. Danny will no doubt turn the battery down very shortly when he notices that he's got enough off a gap there. It goes down to 3, so he's doing a really good job of managing in his ERS. Won't need to worry about that in the new game. It's all done automatically except for the override button. The overtake button is available to the driver, so that's going to make them a little bit easier to drive. They're not needing to manage this manually next season, as Speedster has just gone by on Lewis into turn number 1 on the soft compound tyres. Nice little move there from the American. We only just caught the end of that there as I wasn't quick enough.
Yeah, it was a simple enough move for Speedster down the inside with a little bit of DRS. He's got the move done. He's up to P7, that is, as the American now tries to make his way through the field. He's only had 2 points finishes before this race. There was one at the United States Grand Prix in front of his home crowd. Last time out, he finished P8. That's given him 5 points so far this season. He's on course right now for his best finish of the season.
Absolutely, he'll be looking for that. He's definitely got some pace and some skills, Speedster. We've certainly seen that. 2 fastest laps throughout the season, but that's mainly come because he's been caught out in some incidents, some through his own fault, some through other people's. Hard to tell, we've not seen all of them, and he's then just gone for soft compound at the end, but he's definitely got the pace, we certainly know that much, and an American in an American car is definitely a nice thing to see. Here we go though, final lap for season 19 as we start to head towards the finish line. Casper's only got 2 more chances to attack and make the move here on to Danny, or it is going to be another victory for the Spaniard. El Matador has shown some fantastic pace throughout the entirety of the season. Missed 2 races as well, remember, when his wheel had to go back to get repaired. That cost him some points, or it might have been wrapped up before now, or maybe it might not have. Who knows? Liam Parnell fighting with Gamer down the field, but we're going to follow the lead pair, the lead drivers, as they come up towards the finish line. And just see how this one goes as we come down Juncal for the final time, up towards the final braking zone into Juncal. Here we go, Danny MG exits the final proper corner on the track. He powers up the hill. It's absolutely bliss for the Spaniard. It's high five for the season, 5 wins for the year. It's a hat-trick of wins to finish the season. It's 2 in a row in Brazil, but most importantly, as we already knew, Danny MG wins the Brazilian Grand Prix, and with it, the AOR Season 19 Championship. Big congratulations to him. What a way to finish it. Casper in second, Domi on the podium in third, Blizzard fourth, Lee Finley fifth, and then down the field Speedster will move up a wee bit. But Danny MG, well, dominance.
Yeah, 5th win of the season for Danny, and the driver's title to boot as well. Can't really think of a better way to finish off this season for Danny than a race win here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's 5 wins, it's a title to his name, and he ends season 19 of F1 2019 on top of the world.
Absolutely, and he'll be absolutely delighted. He did say he really enjoys Brazil, obviously. It's one of his favourite tracks on the calendar. And going back to back here, season 18 and 19 here in Brazil. Hat-trick of victories to round out the season, Canada, Austria and Brazil. And as you say, 5 victories for the season, making him the most winningest driver here in season 19. But it's time for the final unofficial results with Kieran.
Yeah, the official, unofficial results for the final time here in season number 19 of the Hype Energy AOR F1 PS4 League. It is Danny with his 5th win of the season. Casper in second. Domi with a podium there. He managed to bring it home onto the 3rd step of the podium. He will be absolutely delighted, as will his fan base. Blizzard in 4th with Finley in 5th. Tactician recovering to 6th place there with Welsh in 7th. Gamer in 8th. Onyx 9th. And Speedster rounding out the top 10, dropping down the fields dramatically with those penalties. Prinens in 11th with those penalties. Parnell in 12th. Vastaracer, Lambert, Jonathan did not make the checkered flag. But a great race here from a great season. And I think with Danny there, as you say, Andy, he had 2 races halfway through the season where he had his wheel sent off to get repaired. Japan and Italy, he missed out on those both, and still is your driver's champion. Since then, every race he started, he's finished on the podium, apart from the German Grand Prix, where he finished in P14. Simply put, a fantastic season from the Spaniard, and he is your new driver's champion here in the Apex Online Racing Hype Energy F1 PS4 League. And a huge congratulations to him from both myself and Andy. Not to mention as well the commiserations to Sven. He put up a hard fight, couldn't make it tonight, unfortunately, but he will finish runners-up in this championship. And of course, Williams wrap up a dominant season, 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Champion as well. They'll be absolutely delighted. And of course, Sven is part of that Constructors' winning team, if you can sweeten the pot just a little bit. But a fantastic season from them both, and Danny is your winner.
Absolutely fantastic stuff from the Spaniard. Just absolutely brilliant finish to the season. 3 victories on the trot, turned a 30-point deficit into a 21-point lead going into tonight. It was such a turnaround for the books in the final last 3 rounds. Although it became a bit anticlimactic with Sven unfortunately not able to attend here tonight, it's still an absolutely fantastic championship victory from Danny MG. Big congratulations to him. Sven as well, he'll be disappointed obviously to lose out on a championship. He looked odds on at one point to win with 3 rounds to go in that 30-point lead. It just shows you how quickly things can change in F1, even in league racing. Anything can happen, and it usually does. We'll hope to get the top 3, including your champion, into the interview box very shortly. We're just going to jump across to that just now. And there we are. And I think as well, you know, with the season finishing, I did say, one of the first things I said at the start of the season was this is going to be probably one of the most competitive seasons we've seen for a while. Anybody's capable of a victory. I'm surprised to see that Danny managed to get 5 and Sven getting 4. So Williams took 9 of the 12 victories throughout the season, which I wasn't quite expecting to see. But the fact that they were sharing it amongst each other still made it absolutely fantastic viewing from lights out in Bahrain to the flag here in Interlagos. It's been a brilliant season.
hasn't it just? And it's sort of let us know into the next seasons to come that we're going to have some great rivalries on our hands. That is, of course, Andy, if we're reunited in the commentary
I
box
hope
for
so.
next season. I hope so. Fingers crossed. I'm loving those graphics, by the way. Really, really good there. We'll just wait for a couple more minutes for the rest of the podium, hopefully the rest of the podium, to join us, especially for Domi as well. Now, as a reserve, you're always sort of in that midst of, do you practice or is it going to be your race? Which car are you going to be in? But for him, no doubt in his mind there, he absolutely turned up, did the job, and got a podium. And that's going to send shockwaves around the teams when it comes to next season. They'll definitely have to keep their eye on him.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great result there from him and really puts himself in the window to get a full-time seat next season rather than being in the reserve lineup. He's taken his chances very nicely indeed, and as a reserve, that's what you need to do. You need to take the chances when they're all given to you. Nolan done the same thing. He was reserve at the start of the season. He ended up with a full-time seat in the Toro Rosso towards the end, at midpoint of the season. And La McQueen, although he's missed the last so many races, he did get a seat due to a couple of good reserve performances as well at Renault, but he's obviously not competed for the last 4 rounds, which is such a shame to see. But it's been a brilliant season. We'll go over some bits and pieces very shortly. Waiting to see if we can get the other two drivers into the commentary box, which should be Casper and hopefully Domi. I think the reason we're maybe getting a delay on Casper and Domi probably doesn't know where to go. So Casper's probably trying to guide him up a set of stairs somewhere, to be
Yeah.
perfectly honest. But since we have the champion, I know your idea was to do the other, if Danny won, was to do second, third, and then Danny. But since he's here, and he's on time, and he's been, punctual and everything, I think we should get started and hear from what I imagine will be a very, very happy Spaniard.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we go with the part of the stream where Andy regrets the most handing the mic to me. My goodness, he's done that 11 times so far, and all of them have been okay, I guess. But anyway, of course, we are here with our brand new champion of the Hype Energy Apex Online Racing PS4 F1 League. It is, of course, Mr. Danny Moreno himself. Danny, how are you tonight?
Doing great.
Oh, I just say go again, Danny. I didn't quite hear that one. Hopefully you're still with us.
I'm doing great. Hello? Do you hear me?
Hello. Just a bit quiet, Danny. If you can turn up the mic, turn up the volume just a little bit so we can hear you. Unless that's on my end, of course. It probably is on my end. Can you hear us now, Danny? We'll wait on Danny for just a second. Probably the motion getting to him. We do have Casper alongside us in the commentary box. Let's go to him first of all. Probably now we've caught him off guard. Casper, are you there?
Yes.
Casper, good to have you along with us there. So P2 in the Brazilian Grand Prix to round off this season. Another podium for you. How do you feel about that?
I'm disappointed, but yeah, I've never really liked the track. I've never really been fast at it, and I think Danny was just a little bit faster than me, so he deserves to win more than I would. So yeah, he just deserves to win, and congrats to him on the championship as well.
And your fifth podium of the season out of 12, kind of a bit of an understatement, really. How do you feel your season has gone, though?
The season has gone terrible. Yeah, well, it was terrible. I've been taken out in a lot of races, no fault of my own, so it's a little bit of a shame, and I think I could have challenged for the title if that wasn't the case. I'm very disappointed.
And of course, P2 in the championship last season. This season to be confirmed, because Andy's probably doing the maths right now as we speak. But, when it comes to next season, obviously your target is to win. But without those incidents that affected you before, you said you would be battling for that title. And I think I kind of have to agree with you. Looking at your season so far, I mean, the results here, I mean, for example, you had 14th at the first round, 16th at Italy, and I know those were races where it didn't go well for you. But just talk to us. I mean, where did it? What races in particular didn't go well, and were there races you could have taken the race win?
Well, the first race in Bahrain, that was just my own fault, where I just crashed on my own. It was completely my own fault, so it didn't really go well. But then Italy, I think I was the fastest car on the track there. I really should have won the race if the incident with Toro Rosso, I believe it was, didn't happen and all that. And then USA, I just completely bottled that. And yeah, overtaking with the DRS trains wasn't really possible there. Yeah, and so there are just many more races like Austria as well. Last week, I got taken out when I was fighting for the win. So that basically sums it up. Still a couple.
Yeah. But you've still had the motivation to keep coming back and keep having a go, and 5 podiums as well. One of those being a win there, I believe, at the British Grand Prix, being the real highlight for your season here. But also, you've been doing a lot behind the scenes as well. Lots of things that maybe other people might not have seen, including making me look like a competent fact finder. That's one thing I like. But yeah, Casper, it's just been a real pleasure to work alongside you. And a big thank you from myself and Andy for giving us that driver insight so that we know what drivers are going to be feeling, what sort of strategies are on the table, and including the pole position time as well. Andy and I would have no clue of that because I know both of us lapping around the track, we'd never get anywhere near that. So again, thank you for that information. But looking forward to next season, obviously the target is to win. But could you do it next season in season 20? I mean, it's a new game. It's a new season. Do you think you can get a head start?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be sweating a lot the first few weeks, of course, to try and get up to speed as soon as I can. And yeah, we'll just see how it goes, to be honest.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time, Casper. Thank you very much for working alongside us. Congratulations on your P2 here at Brazil, and hopefully we will see you next season.
Thank you.
And let's see if hopefully Danny has got a control of his mic this time around. Danny, how are you?
Hello, can you hear me
That's
now?
much better from our championship winner here this season. Danny, another win, 5 wins for you and the championship. You must be a very happy man.
Yeah, I'm lost for words. I'm super happy right now. Since the start of the season, at the beginning of the season, things were going to plan with 3 podiums, but then, yeah, I got pretty unlucky with my wheelbase, and when I had to send it to Germany, I think it is, to repair it, yeah, I thought that the championship could potentially be over, but yeah, never give up, and I'm here right now with the AOR championship.
Truer words have never been spoken. Never give up. I mean, there's only one time in a race you've started, Danny, that you didn't finish on the podium, and that was in Germany, where you finished 14th. 5 wins, 2 second places, 2 third places as well. I mean, it's just been incredibly consistent from you, and no doubt that's added to that glory there. But a hat trick of wins to round off the season as well. I think Andy was saying that you turned a 20-odd point deficit or 30-odd point deficit into a championship win with 3 races to go. Just an incredible job. I mean, going into Germany, for example, when you're that far behind Sven at his home race, what was your thought with 3 races to go? Did you think you had a chance still?
I think I had a chance because I knew the last part of the championship was my best tracks in the game. But again, Sven consistency has been great at the beginning of the season. So I was expecting Sven to be on the podium during the last races. And yeah, if he was on the podium, there's no way I could have won the championship. But he started messing up. And when he messed up the first race, I started to get the momentum went on my side. And yeah, 3 wins in a row at the end.
Yeah, commanding is an understatement, but yeah, I mean, just keep talking to us about how it feels to be a champion. I mean, you've worked your way through. Your first win at the top tier came at this very track last season, and to win here 5 more times added to your tally, and now a championship. You must be feeling brilliant.
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Actually, last year it wasn't my first win in this tier. I won in this tier last year.
I'll put my hands up.
On Austria.
I'll put my hand up. That was my fault. I forgot about that one. I thought it was Brazil. My bad.
But yeah, it feels great. It's been, I think, 2 years now I've been in AOR. To me, it's the best individual championship I think there is, and the one with the most prestige. And being able to win this championship is an amazing feeling, and hopefully I can feel this again in the future.
And as our newly crowned champion, is there anything else you'd like to say? I'll just hand the mic to you for a bit if you like.
Well, I'd like to say that it's been a wonderful championship. Thanks to you guys commentating all the races, and thanks to all of the drivers that have put on a show, especially today with Casper. I know Casper has been really unlucky during the whole season. To me, Casper should be probably in esports in these next years. And yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you very much, Danny. Enjoy your championship. We'll leave you alone now to celebrate. Congratulations on being the AOR Hype Energy F1 PS4 Season 19 champion. Go away and enjoy that one, Danny. Well done and congratulations.
Thank you. Good evening.
And with that, Andy, for the final time this season, the commentary box is empty. It's back to you, Mr. Campbell.
Thank you very much. Again, congratulations to Danny on the win in the championship. Congratulations to Casper, even though he was disappointed on the second place. It's still obviously a podium. At the end of the day, it's still a good result. He'll be back stronger next season. Would have been nice to get Domi along, but I think he's probably got lost somewhere, unfortunately. So we'll need to leave that one for another day. I have been working away in the background, as always, coming up with the final standings. Now, I would just point out when I'm going through the drivers, it does not include Domi because he was still classed as a reserve. It only have the 20 drivers that were actually assigned a team. So reserves don't show up on this. But Danny wins 192 points, Sven on 146. Blizzard took third on 123. Casper nearly got there, but not quite enough, 116 points. Lee Finley got 5th position, 95 points. Vasta Racer in 6th on 90. Sparks finished in 7th on 68, despite missing the last 4 races. Just shows you what consistency and points finishes can do for you. Same for Lee as well. He only had 1 non-point scoring finish all year, and that was in Japan. So consistency does get you up the table. Jonathan was 8th on 46 despite his retirement tonight. Same with Nolan in 9th on 40. Oh wait, I've just realised I've messed up. Sorry, so Lewis is 9th on 42, Nolan 10th on 40. I realised I just didn't add that up right. Who would have thought? Oryx 11th on 34, Prinez in 12th on 33. Tactician moved up 2 places with his 8 points tonight. He was on 22 points. Liam and Fabi next up. Liam Parnell and Fabi, the 2 Ferrari drivers, 18 points apiece. Gamer moved up 2 positions with his 4 points tonight on 12, tied with Surface. Jocla is 18th on 8 points. Lama Queen got 7 points for 19th. And Speedstat rounds out the 20 drivers assigned to a team with just the 5 points, but we know he can be much quicker than that. And in the Constructors' Championship, Williams 338 points. 120 points clear of McLaren in second, who had 218. But it was a really good run from McLaren, Blizzard and Lee at the end of the season. Mercedes take third on 138 points. Racing Point in fourth on 123. Toro Rosso 5th on 98. Alfa Romeo still 6th on 80. No changes at the bottom end. Renault 7th on 54. Red Bull 8th on 51. Haas 9th on 40. And Ferrari, for the second season running, finish with the wooden spoon, but they've got massive amount more points than what they did last season. And that is it. Season 19 is over. I just want to take a quick moment before we finish the stream up. I'm sure my words are echoed by Kieran as well. I just want to thank everybody who's joined us throughout the season. I hope you've enjoyed the commentary, the action on track, trying to make things look as smooth and as good as possible. My thanks to everyone behind the scenes that helps out, for the likes of Ali Monda, Mark, who was commentating last season, with doing the intros. To everybody at AOR, the commentators are a great help behind the scenes. Big thanks to Casper and Tactician, our tier coordinators, for providing us, as Kieran was saying, with all the info we need to be able to make us look like absolute superstars who know what we're talking about. A big thank you to all the drivers for showing up as well on a week-to-week basis, especially at the end of a game cycle. We've still seen 16 drivers tonight, which is absolutely fantastic. And a big thank you, as you might have noticed with my intro earlier on, to the one and only King Kodiak, Chris Buxton, who is obviously the voice of AOR, in my opinion. He's now, for the foreseeable, stopped commentating on Apex Online Racing just this week. And without him, I wouldn't be here. He was the one that gave me my chance back in season 16. I know he was the one that gave you your chance as well, Kieran. So that was our little homage to the man who basically put us where we are today. So thank you very much, and hopefully we'll hear those dulcet tones back in the commentary box before long. But yeah, anything you want to add to that, Kieran?
Well, hopefully we gave Chris Buxton a great show, and hopefully wound them up and let them go for him tonight. Yeah, absolutely. He's been one of the reasons I've been, in AOR. Obviously, I sent that application in, and he was so happy that he put me in F3. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm in F3 for quite a few seasons as well as a lot working alongside him with the F1 Esports Challenger Series. I mean, he's just absolutely great fun to work with. And the nerves I was feeling for F1 Esports as well, for example, were quickly quashed when I heard I would say Chris Buxton's rendition of Andy's intro here today, but that's a disservice to the great man. But hopefully we can be reunited in the commentary box soon. Hopefully, as Andy said, he'll be there to soothe us with those dulcet tones. Hopefully in the very near future. But we send him all our best for the future. And again, hopefully he's back on our screens very, very soon.
Absolutely, and with that, we come to the end of season 19. Once again, thank you very much to everybody for tuning in. Thank you to all the drivers, everyone behind the scenes. It's been a fantastic year. Season 20 on F1 2020. 22 races we're going to have for season 20, including the Dutch Grand Prix and the Vietnam Grand Prix. We are in for a heck of a show if season 19 is anything to go by. And to whet your appetite, it's a quick outro video before we finish here tonight. But for myself, my name is Andy Campbell.
And I've been Kieran McGinley.
Take care of yourselves, stay safe. We'll see you in season 20. Till then, take care and goodbye. Ta-ra.